Gough Island is part of the Tristan Islands group. Lying in the centre of the South Atlantic, it's 200 kilometres from the other islands in the group. And as dawn revealed its rocky ramparts and steep cliffs, I wondered how we were going to land. It's uninhabited, apart from the weather station, and the meteorologists stationed here have a novel way of getting to work. The only way to get up onto Gough Island.
What a way to get up onto one of the most remote islands in the world. It's incredible.
The weather station plays an important role in producing weather forecasts for this whole vast area. Helium-filled balloons track wind speeds and atmospheric conditions and transmit this information to a tiny receiving station back on Gough Island.
Sends the signals back down? Yes, immediately. And we use the satellites to determine wind speed and direction.
Okay, right, gotcha.
So that's like a weather station. It's a weather station. It's a weather station.
That's amazing.
But the island is also important for its wildlife. I went to explore, although perhaps with a little too much suntan lotion. It's a breeding site for subantarctic fur seals and northern rockhopper penguins. Gough also has its own unique species, found nowhere else in the world. The ancestors of the Gough moorhen somehow managed to find their way to this remote spot, where it evolved into a new endemic species. Now, it's almost flightless. All islands are precious for wildlife because of the way evolution works on such small and isolated specks of land. Islands are crucibles of evolution, engines that drive the emergence of new plant and animal species. Many plants and animals evolve on islands in unusual and unpredictable ways. Many island species become giant or miniature. Birds and insects often lose their wings and become flightless. Crabs take over the land, and strange plants, such as these tree ferns, become dominant. This happens because island life has adapted to new habitats, new niches, new food sources, and the absence of usually dominant species and predators. But these factors that created island life also make those same island species exceptionally vulnerable. One of the most vulnerable is the Atlantic yellow-nosed albatross. Although it ranges far and wide over the southern oceans, they all return to breed on the Tristan group of islands. Here, they raise their single huge chicks amongst the endemic tree ferns. But the chicks are now under threat from an unlikely predator. As hard as it is to land on this island, house mice were introduced here as stowaways on visiting ships in the 19th century. And within the past 2 centuries, they have evolved to exploit an abundant source of protein, the albatross chicks. Mice up to 27 centimetres in length, including their tails, have been recorded. They attack at night, nipping the poor albatross chicks at their sides, often causing horrific injuries, and eventually, often the death of the birds. Because the birds have evolved here without any predators at all, they simply don't even recognise the house mice as a threat. The chicks, like this little albatross chick behind me, have absolutely no defence behavioural mechanisms to protect themselves. Because the chicks have no defences, the monster mice of Gough can simply eat the albatross chicks alive. Thousands of seabirds are thought to be killed by the monster mice of Gough Island each year. As the island is the main home of the Tristan albatross, as well as other endemic species, the long-term impact of the monster mice is very troubling. It's feared that the continued predation of the seabird chicks might push some unique bird species into extinction. As islands harbour disproportionate amounts of unique species, they're among the most important habitats in the world to protect. As small isolated flecks of land, they often contain more unique endemic species than entire landlocked countries, thousands of times their size. It is within our power to restore balance to island ecosystems. Non-native plants and animals can be eradicated, populations of native species can be nurtured and rebuilt, and even entire ecosystems can be restored. But now, though, is the time to act. The coming decades will reveal whether these miniature, unique worlds are lost forever or preserved for the future. The Britain's Treasure Islands book explores the unique wildlife, cultures and history of all of the UK overseas territories. Visit britainstreasureislands.com for details. In sincere thanks to Lord Ashcroft for funding the donation of one copy of the Britain's Treasure Islands book to every secondary school across the UK and her overseas territories. Thanks also to all Kickstarter backers and all sponsors and partners for making the 40 mini-documentaries possible.